What's up, you guys? It's your Dungeon Master, Call Scooter here with day 3 of our challenge playthrough of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, where we see if we can beat the game with only using spells. Now, let's go over the rules. Rule number 1, I can only use spells to fight against enemies. I can hold weapons for their annoyance. If there's an obstacle that has to be meleeed or shot in order to progress in the mission, I'm allowed to do so. And lastly, no Nova Shields. Honestly, this playthrough is going pretty well. The start was shaky, that's for sure, but as we progress, it's getting a whole lot more viable. I think we'll be able to beat the base game fairly easily, but I'm not sure if we'll be able to make it through all the chaos chambers. Comment down below and let me know if you think we can win or not. Now, let's jump into this. First things first, we blow up the ocean. I had to include this part. Honestly, I'm really happy that they put this part in the game. It's a really cool callback to Borderlands 2.
It's so beautiful! New ocean!
We now have the ability to choose a secondary class, and we decide to go with Graveborn. We could have also gone with Stabomancer, as there is some really nice synergy there. But ultimately, I thought that Spell Shot with Graveborn would be the best for this challenge run. Since the Banshee was definitely a pushover in our last video, we're going to farm her a couple times. She has the chance to drop the legendary spell, the Twister, which by all means is not the best legendary spell in the game. To be honest, a lot of the blue unique mission reward spells are quite a bit better, but I do want to try and get all the legendary spells and at least use them once in this playthrough. Try number 1 and nothing. And after about 10 tries, we finally give up. Yeah, I'm over this, to be honest. Let's just continue forward in the game. We find a magic bean and help it to rip up the landscape of a neighboring city. Honestly, we might be the bad guy in this playthrough, but I know in this town there is a unique spell. I've never actually used it before, so it could be good, could be bad. Regardless, we're gonna go get it. To get the spell, we have to first defeat Castor, the normal sized skeleton, and the dude kicked our butts. We tried this battle a couple times, and then the other enemies just stopped spawning, which made it so that if we went down in this battle, we would just flat out lose. I'm gonna complete the main mission on this map and come back to this. The main story here is just a bunch of Wonderland silliness. You take the Punch Mother, which is a fairy version of Brick, to cleanse some overgrown flowers, and each time a unique mushroom enemy jumps out at you that you must beat, and then at the end of the mission there is a boss you get to fight. The Holy Spell Nade thing we got from Claptrap's side mission is doing work. It explodes and kind of like fireworks out. It can damage a lot of enemies if they're somewhat close to each other. Time to take on the Parasite. This boss is a bit tankier than the other ones we faced so far, repping 3 health bars. But it's still kind of a cakewalk. The enemies nearby just keep dying from our splash damage, so even if we were to go down, a second wind is inevitable. And we end up getting a legendary drop from one of the small enemies here. Nice! And better yet, it's a legendary spell. I feel like the game just kind of figured we were due one at this point. The spell is called Threads of Fate of Invention, and this spell's pretty freaking sweet. You do have to charge it up, and the spell cooldown isn't as good as our other spell, but it creates this like ball of dark energy that shoots out these beams that just eat at our enemies. It's not a spell that does big damage immediately, but if we line it up right, it does some work. Alright, Parasite's defeated, and now with our new spell equipped, I think we have a chance against Castor. Well, it still doesn't go great, and it's pretty frustrating. We keep getting him down below half health, but if we slip up and go down, that's it. There isn't anyone else in this area to get a second wind on. After a couple more tries, we finally get the W and take Castor down. Time to try out that unique spell that we just got from that mission. So it looks like it creates a dome around us that pulls enemies in, and then these little Hydra guys spawn out and deal damage to enemies. This spell kind of stinks. It's definitely not the type of spell that we like to use. I think that it'll have a nice home in our backpack, and possibly the void if we run out of storage room. On to the main mission. We meet up with Bones 3 Wood.
Oh, but he's not just any pirate.
He's a skeleton pirate!
Kill Moby Dick. Insult this dude's mother.
Your mum should have thrown you away and kept the stock.
And blow up a blimp that I really wasn't sure we'd be able to hit.
Down to the dry depths with ye.
Next up, we absolutely destroy Deckhands the Helmsman. And the second hand didn't last very long either. Honestly, we're kind of a magical beast right now. Now it's time for another boss fight, and our victim this time is LeChance. And can I just say, we finally have a boss fight that we do pretty good damage against. Normally we just kind of chip away and struggle through it, but this time around we are melting this mofo. We do end up going down, but we have our spells up, they do enough damage to take the boss down, and with that, we can move on to the next part. It says that we should be level 21 for this next part, but we're only level 18. We may have to grind some levels on previous bosses, but for now we're just going to keep pressing on. The enemies on this map have stepped up their game a little bit. We're having some trouble with them. After this mission, I think it'll be a good spot in the game to go farm some new legendary spells. But for now, let's go take on that boss.
Fine, you know what? You wanted a fight? I'll give you a fight!
Drill has 3 different phases, and in each one he changes the type of attacks he does. There are a lot of weak enemies nearby, so if we go down, it's pretty easy to get a second win. Which, we do go down. A lot. This guy kind of packs a punch. The first phase is definitely centered around brute force. Alright, on to the second phase, and his attacks get shock damage added to them now. He also really likes to throw these giant trident things at us. Final phase, and this one I hate the most. He gets his fire breath thing and leaves his elemental pool for a little while. What's worse is if I go down during this part, it can be one of the most aggravating things, as the enemies here that you normally get a second win off of will oftentimes die from the fire puddles the boss leaves. And with that, Drill is taken down. I'm really happy we made it through that battle. With that, you guys, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in day 4.